have the 3 other microphones. So I'm like, why did they put that microphone there? It's like, I don't understand it. I'm so excited. Denise, do you want to do the honors? Because I kind of feel like you made all this happen. So
yeah, that sounds kind of cool.
I didn't make it all happen. I was just listening to San's album, and he reached out to me. So welcome into the podcast, San
Holo.
What's up, guys?
Welcome back to Atlanta.
You guys are so excited always. I love it.
I am, because we had a chat. Shaky Beats, was it?
Yeah.
And it was like, those chats happen so quick, and you were just like so interesting and fascinating. And the entire time, I was just like, man, I really want to get to know you, just because what a great story that you have, and and then you dropped just. What a straight, incredible album.
Thank you.
Album 1.
With album 1, which, how long did it take you? Could you walk me like the beginning and through the album process? Like, how long did it take you to put that together?
Well, the cool thing is, beginning of this year, January, I was like, I want to do an album. And I thought maybe I'm going to spend like 2 years on it, 3 years. Album is a big thing. But then my management was like, hey, do you want to tour at the end of the year? It would be cool to tour a new album. And I was like, I can never finish it in time. But I tried it, and for some reason, after 4 months, I was like, damn, I might actually be able to finish like 12, 13 tracks before the deadline. And I did it, and the result is something that's very very close to my heart, very recent as well. So you know how sometimes you release a song and you have to wait for a year for it to come out,
Right.
And this is just literally, I wrote all the songs on there this year in an Airbnb in LA, and I'm touring them now. I'm in a tour bus with a big crew, and it's been an incredible experience. Even though it was a very stressful process to get it finished in time, but I'm very happy we did it.
So when we saw you a few months, was it May? I think, was that Shaky Beats?
Honestly, I
probably everything's running together.
I lose track of time all the time.
Had you already completed all of the tracks before we saw you at Shaky Beats? Were you still kind of working?
Oh, I was in the middle of it. I was in the middle of it. Yeah, I think I flew out for that show, and then I went straight back to
LA?
Yeah.
Wow.
To my little Airbnb on Vestal Avenue.
Do you okay, so you put this thing together in 4 months, which is, again...
Oh, no, let's get it straight. I think 6 to 7 months.
6 to 7 months.
Yeah.
If you could have had a magic wand, how much time would you have spent on this album?
Like 10 years? Like, I don't know, like... That's the problem. It's never really done.
Yeah.
You can keep working on it until it's... I need to give myself a deadline, otherwise I'll just keep making it, like, more perfect.
Right.
And maybe that's the beauty of this album. It's not perfect at all. It's like, it's got rough edges. It's got noise on there. It's got little crackle on there. It's got birds that were flying around the house on there.
That's insanity to me. If you think this album has rough edges, like I can't wait to hear your perfect album that you might release in like 20 years or something. The secret album you've been working on, because it's such a great album.
From beginning to end. That's how at least I listen to it, from beginning to end. I don't skip tracks or anything, but it's
that's
just
how you should
constant.
Listen to it. Yeah,
it's just so many emotions. Like, I don't know, I'm listening to it, and then I could hear like one song, I'm like, oh, I can see him start with this, or like, this got to be like the ending song, and then some make me like so happy, and some I'm like, oh my god, I totally feel it.
That's funny, because for me that was the reason to not give the album like a deep, like a meaningful name. I just wanted it to be album 1. You can create your own story with it. You can, I would love people to listen to it from front to back, and then create their own memories and create their own story with it, without putting like a special word in their minds beforehand. Like, I don't know, album 1 is just, it's very analytical. It's just what it is.
What a great answer to that too. A question I was gonna eventually get to, but like, I've never heard an artist say that.
And it's just, it's a really stupid name, and I loved it. Like, album 1. My management started laughing when I said that's what I wanted it to be called. Yeah. And they were like, "San, come on, give us a better name." But I stuck with it, and now it's actually a thing. I'm doing album 1 tour. So.
How hard is it dealing with people that maybe don't get your vision fully? And then, because I think at any point in your life, no matter if you're huge, somebody in the music scene like yourself, or whether you're working in radio or whatever your job happens to be, you're always going to have that boss, that person that has their own vision, right? And you're just trying to do what you believe in. Like, how difficult is that for you?
It's a very good question. I think it motivates me. I think it always motivates me in a way. Like when I make songs, I want to make something that's not really there yet. I get really excited about creating a song, and like people listen to it for 10 seconds and they know it's me, you know? I want to be in my own lane constantly, which is also why I went into a different direction with this album, more like live instrumentation, more guitar, because I felt like that was a sound I never really heard in the EDM scene before. And, you know, when I started out as San Holo, I sent my stuff to a lot of labels, and they were all not really willing to release it. So I started my own label, Bitbird, you know? Right. And I think as long as you have a vision and I don't know, it's maybe naive to say, you know, you just do what you love. But for me, it has worked out. Just stick with your vision. And of course, sometimes you got to be strategic about things.
Right.
This album, how can I say that? Even though I really did whatever I want on the album, I made sure there was a song on there that, you know, could potentially be on radio, you know, right, without losing my sound. So it's definitely, most part is just sticking to your own vision and a little bit strategy around it, behind that. When
you create something like that, a song that you're like, hey, you know what, I love, you know, I got to have a radio hit at some point. Can you do that with any of your songs? Can you, like, you know, you have this masterpiece that might not be radio friendly, but can you go in and rework it to try to release? Or do you want to keep some songs just the way you have them? Just, you know, like this one, I don't, you know, people
exactly.
get it, they get it.
Yeah, I just write and at some point I realize, hey, this could be something catchy, like, you know, maybe the radio would like this, and then I can either decide to go in that direction or just not at all. And it's not a wrong direction, it's a different direction, you know. But most of the funny thing is, most of the time the most radio friendly songs are my least favorite songs of the record. You know, my favorite song of the album is Go Back in Time, and it's like the least streamed song.
Not Lift Me From the Ground?
Lift Me From the Ground, I like this song.
Oh my God, but I can't stop. You know, like every once in a while you'll hear a song, and I don't know about you, but for me, I just get addicted to it, and it's just like on repeat over and over and over. I don't know when I'm gonna get through the song. But awesome.
I appreciate it. I think Lift Me From the Ground is one of those songs that I was like, hey, this could be a, you know, people could be really into it. Maybe even my mom, you know, who's not into electronic music at all. You know,
What's your mom's favorite song that you've ever done?
Lift Me From the Ground.
Is it really?
No, and she really likes, of course, like Light and stuff. I think when Light was released, it was the first time and it was played on Dutch radio. She's like, hey son, you're on the radio. And I'm like, yeah, Mom, I've been on the radio for a while. That was the first time she started to understand what I was doing, you know, because it's a huge gap for, you know, my mom listened to bands and stuff, and me doing this electronic thing. It's definitely a gap between, also an age gap, I feel. But you guys don't seem to have that at all. You guys grew up with electronic music or not?
I grew up. I have an interesting story because I grew up in Greece, and I didn't find this out until recently. But when I turned 10, my dad was always gone, right? So when I turned 10, he just appeared, and he was like, "Hey, we go to America on a Friday," and we were gone by Sunday.
On a Friday.
Yeah, and I didn't want to come to the U.S. because I didn't speak the language. All my friends were in Athens, you know. So when I came over here, it was very difficult because, again, like you go to school, you're getting picked on. I never seemed to like fit in with the alternative scene that was popping in the 90s, like Blink 182 and all those things. Like I didn't get it. Like, so for me, it was more about like snap rhythm as a dancer and kind of, you know, but I didn't know the words. So it was more like melody and kind of dancey, and it's
so you were like listening to you heard the words, but you didn't really know the meaning.
I had no idea.
I love that. I had the same experience when I was listening to the Beastie Boys back in the days when I'm in Holland. Body moving. I was like, nothing moving. I don't know but like it's still, that proves that even without the words, music can really touch you, you know?
Right.
I think that's beautiful, yeah.
To answer your question, that's so I kind of, to see, when listening to that music and going through high school, I'd get picked on for listening to the music. So then to see EDM kind of blow up into this thing, and now you have festivals and you have all these things now, to me, it's cool. Incredible. It's funny what you said, because I was a huge Blink 182 fan. You know, I am now. It's funny. Like now I go back and I think I was just like maybe scarred just because again it wasn't. I just didn't fit into the scene. I didn't get the music. So
but
now
they were very separated scenes. It's almost like opposites of each other. You know, like you were either like electronic or you were a rock kid. You know, like and I feel like I've always been so inspired by hip hop music, so inspired by rock music, by electronic music, and with this album I wanted to kind of create this bridge between the indie kind of guitar world with cool guitar sounds and like energetic EDM with all the build-ups and the drops.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's all those bands that you probably listened to or heard in high school. have inspired me as well.
I just love how the scene now like the kids that are growing up now, they do listen to rock, they do listen to hip hop, they listen to electronic. It's a mess of everything now.
Yeah.
I think it's beautiful. The one thing about your album is the way that it flows. It has a unique sound to it, beginning to end. It's like you're listening to you, right?
Great.
When you approach those songs, how did you go about it? Did you have a starting point per song? Like is it the melody for you? How did that come together?
So I never write in a way of it's not that I compose in my head. It's not that I'm in the car like, oh, this is a great man. I just start working on something and that probably inspires me to do something else, and that sound inspires me to create another sound. So it's like a process of trial and error all the time, and accidents that happen, and then I let my inspiration do whatever with it, and at some point I have a song. It's never like I couldn't describe my process because it's very up in the air. That's the beautiful thing of art and creation. It's something that you can't really describe. Or inspiration. What is inspiration? You can't really get inspiration. It just comes to you. So by just starting something, sometimes I just make a loop and throw like 15 effects on it and see what that does to my head and go from there,
Yeah.
And in some magical way, this album just became sort of a story from start to finish. I didn't even plan it, but the first song and the last song are in the same key, and I was like, wow, these are in the same key. That's a super cool coincidence. And so I ended the album with the same notes as the intro song. So it's like dun 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 dun. That's I play on guitar in the intro, and I end it on piano in the outro. So it kind of it's a full story like that. And I think that was the last couple of weeks I realized that, like, whoa, it's a story now,
Yeah, that's insane.
I thank whatever made me do that.
Yeah. Just every once in a while, everything just kind of seems to, I call it riding the wave, when everything just seems to kind of work itself out and it's going great, and you want to ride that wave as long as you can, That riff, that dun 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 dun.
Yeah.
How did that come about?
I was on tour. I think that's the only melody I wrote before the studio, or like this before the actual writing process. It was on tour in an Airbnb in Chicago, and I just I had my laptop on my bed and I just played this little riff on guitar, dun, 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 and it's been on my computer for my computer for like 6 or 5 months, and then I always kept hearing it in my head, and at some point I was like, hey, this is the intro for my album, because I have a lot of ideas on my computer and most of them I just throw away at some point but this little idea just kept replaying itself in my head, and I felt like something special, and it turned into something very special for me because I start the show with it, I start the album with it, I end the show with it, and I end the album with it. So it's I don't know, it's the album one melody for me.
Yeah, I can't wait for the show because I was going through Twitter, and do you ever just like sit back and you're like, you know what, I'm gonna feel good about myself right now, I'm just gonna read some tweets?
Yeah, it's complicated. Social media is definitely a job, and I try to be as personal as I can with it, in terms of interacting with people that come to the show and listen to my music.
Yeah. But
it's very easy to get lost in it, and it's very easy to it can be very poisonous, you know, like
absolutely.
It's but you know, it's as long as you realize social media is not real life, that's to me very important.
It's so hard because some people just get so sucked into it that
it
does become real. And you know what? I'm guilty of it as well. You know, I can't tell you how many times, you know, I'm like, oh, I just let things roll off. I don't care what you say. And then I'll see a tweet and I'm like, oh, I'm coming after you now. But yeah.
Exactly.
But just you know, Abby said, mentally preparing myself for San's set tonight. It's going to be one of the most beautiful performances ever. Nicole, I'm not going to wear fake lashes when I see San Holo. I already know my ass going to be next to the rail crying my eyes out. And then followed by, started crying last night during the set. Like, that has to. Yeah. That's emotionally, that's not just somebody going to the show and thinking to myself, oh my God, what a great show. These people, you brought people to tears.
Yeah, I think, you know. It's surreal to me. Like, I've had that experience with music myself, and it was funny. I met some people last night who were talking about, you know, like, this guy said, your music has been with me for my entire high school. You know, I've been listening to you for 5 years, and he didn't seem to be he wasn't able to describe what he felt to me, but I totally understand what he was saying, because I have the same feeling with some I have the same feelings linked to some bands that I listened to in high school, and I met those people as well. Like, some bands that are really big to me, I met those people, and I tried to explain to them, hey, your music means so much to me, but you can't really put it into words, you know. Right. You can't put how much that means to you into words, and to see someone struggle to say that to me, I just really connected to that. I was like, wow, my music is what some other music was to me back in the days, you know. It's crazy, and that made me realize whatever I'm doing now is just, I think that's the most rewarding thing for me, is to create something, and maybe in some years someone will think back, wow, remember that song, and with all these memories linked to it, to me that's the most beautiful thing.
Brent in the chat saying, tell San for me how genuine he is. It really comes through. He's a great guy. So
I mean, I'm not that of a great guy, honestly.
You see how the time we've all slept together. Really nice guy.
Yeah, but like, it's important for me to say, like, I struggle hearing people say, oh, he's such a genuine guy, he's such a good guy. I have just, like, I'm a flawed human being as well, you know? Yeah. Like, I'm just another guy that I might make music and I try to be a good person, but I have a lot of things that are not good about me as well, you know, just as everyone has. So.
I guess the difference is there's some artists that you can tell they're trying to be the best versions of themselves. Not saying that you're not going to have flawed characteristics, but some people are just trying. Some people are trying to do whatever and then hate the fact that TMZ cameras are all over them while they're still at the same club at 2 o'clock in the same, you know, like, you can tell that you're trying. You're going out of your way to, you're giving away guitars. Like, is that an every night thing?
Yeah, it's an every night thing. It's really fun because,
I mean, that's,
yeah, but you know the fun, that's the conflicted thing about everything in the I shouldn't be talking about this at all, but I don't know, I just feel like I love making people happy and giving guitars away. Right. But it's also great for Fender, you know, like, to get like the people making people happy with guitars. I love, what I love about giving guitars away is that I look in the crowd and I see the people that have listened to every single song of the album, and I want to give them something back, but I also wish I could give everyone a guitar, you know, and not just one person. Yeah. But you know, I guess it's nice to make someone feel nice. But you know what's the worst thing? It's the look on the person
next to
him. Yeah, the look on the face of the person next to him.
Why not me?
Yeah, the last 3 songs we said, I spent minutes trying to figure out who am I gonna give this guitar to tonight, because you know, I always say I wish I could give all of you guys a guitar, but
that happens with us too, though. That happens, you know, any show that we have, that happens. The really crummy thing is when people start throwing in, you know, stuff that's happening bad in their life to just try to get tickets when it's an obvious get at the tickets. You know, because I'm like you, I want to help everybody that I can. You know.
Yeah.
And it's, you know, just to see I guess sometimes some of the people just take that and use it or come back and hate you for it because they didn't get hooked up and somebody else did. And it's like, guys, I wish I won the lottery. I wish I had an unlimited, you know, bucket of money that I could just, you know.
I would. I mean, like, if I could afford to have 30 guitars on stage with me and give it to people, I would do it. But it's just like not really convenient to do that. So maybe we can do it, Farron. Should we do it?
We had so our buddy, he's in Houston, and I kept telling him, come on Thursday. He had a few questions though. He was asking, what's the strangest place you've ever heard one of your songs?
Oh,
it's a great question.
Well, it's not a strange place, but in Holland, I'm only just starting to get recognition for what I'm doing. So one time I was standing at a train station, and this person had my song as his ringtone, and I was standing next to him. So it was like this We Rise, and I stood next to him. I was like, "It's my song." I was like, "Oh my god!" It's really funny. That was probably one of the funniest experiences I had.
Did he recognize you or no?
Well, at first not, because most people think I'm not from Holland. Like people are still surprised in Holland that they're, oh, you're Dutch. I thought you were, because I tour 90% of my time in America, you know. So he was like losing it.
Yeah.
It was really funny.
That's awesome.
And then,
who did we talk to that happened on the airplane? Adam.
Oh, Adam Devine. Yeah, a comedian.
Yeah, he was on the airplane. They were playing, it was one of his movies, and the person next to him was watching it. Yeah.
On the airplane.
Oh, and then he goes real cheesy. He was like, that's a great movie, huh? But the guy didn't recognize him. Just thought he was like a weirdo.
I was like,
even though he's watching him, you know. What's, does Celia have another?
Yes, your favorite collaboration.
I did, or in the world?
Yeah, that you've done. Sorry, that you've done.
In the world. That would be a hard question.
As he mentions with Yellow Claw, that's his absolute favorite. The one
Oh yeah, that's fun. My favorite right now is with quite experimental post rock band. It's called Caspian. It's a song called Surface. It's on album 1, and Caspian has been a band that I've always listened to, and it inspired me a lot. They're instrumental post-rock band, and it was really cool to create this song with them that's kind of a mixture between this indie sound and the EDM sound, and that song was really important for album 1 and where where I'm at now. So those collaborations with people that are not really in your scene really inspire me the most. You know, I loved working with Yellow Claw, but we're both in the EDM scene, so
right.
But then still, on Yellow Claw, I played guitar on their record. I was like, we can do a song together, or I can just play guitar on your record, which is not so conventional in the EDM scene. So, like I said, I'm always trying to do something of my own, leave my own fingerprint in a collaboration.
How many instruments do you play?
I mean, I could say 4, but like, I play guitar.
Yeah,
and
guitar's the main one.
I sing sometimes. I know a basic beat on a drum kit, and I play bass guitar. But
I got a whole new respect for guitar because I'm learning the
ukulele.
Yeah, I was like, it's 4 chords. Once I get that down, maybe I'll move to a guitar. It's proving to be very, very difficult to get those 4 chords. And then I was like, guitar has 6. I'm like, I'm never gonna get that down. So I have a whole new respect. You know,
strings.
Yeah.
Oh, because there's a lot of chords on the ukulele. 4 strings. Yeah. It's. It's ukulele. It's a good start.
I want to
keep going.
Go
PK.
to the baby guitar, and then I want to get the keyboard down too.
I bet you look really cool with a ukulele, though. Like,
do I have a picture? Should I pull up a picture?
Did Ilya have any other questions?
That's it. But we got to let song go.
Oh, you gotta go. Oh man. All right. Well,
let me just to end this little podcast. Let me just thank you guys for listening. I can tell you really listened to the album, and I appreciate it a lot.
Yeah.
I haven't said my favorite. I love Love. And when PK's like, which one? I'm like, track 7, Love. Like, I don't know
really?
what.
Cool.
I don't know exactly what it is. Just that one, it brings it home, all sorts of emotions in. Yeah.
Cool.
So I had to tell you.
It's like the thing that's behind that title is WIP, which means work in progress.
Really?
So it's like people think it's kind of a producer thing. Sometimes when we send a song to each other, we put that like WIP on the end to say work in progress.
Yeah.
But I kept it in on the album because people still think it's not finished, but it's a completely finished song. But Love is just like a work in progress, and it actually has a spoken word like in the middle, which is her voice.
Oh, it is. I was gonna say, how did you collaborate on that together?
Yeah, it was just like I
Did you know what you were doing, or like how did that come to? Come on to the mic.
go.
Be shy.
Go.
How did that come together?
Yeah. Go ahead.
I didn't know he was recording me.
I was just interviewing her about her views on life.
Yeah.
And then she just said this beautiful thing, and I was like, damn, I'm gonna use it in my song. Yeah.
My friend called it I guess unknowingly introspective. I was just talking to you, but I guess it came out sounding like.
What's that?
Deep.
Annoyingly introspective?
Like unnowingly introspective.
Oh, cool.
Like,
yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
just accidentally deep.
Yeah.
And the next thing you know, you're on an album. Like that's.
Yeah.
It's pretty crazy.
Anyway.
Yeah.
I can't wait to. I mean.
I've been looking forward to
we've been
seeing you
counting
again,
down.
and then the fact that it's like in Atlanta and it's just down the road, and yeah, I can't wait for tonight.
Tomorrow, I'm just gonna let everybody know. Tomorrow's morning show, we're gonna be. We might be a little on the tired side because we're shutting this down tonight. I cannot wait.
See you guys tonight.
I cannot wait. Will you do me a favor? So we have a keyboard, right? And I've had this crazy idea, which probably will not happen, but we'll see. Everybody that comes in, I want them just to play one note, maybe two. It could be anything, right?
Okay.
And then at the end of the year, we're gonna have every artist that comes in through here. They're gonna add something to it.
Cool.
And at the end of the
Okay.
song, but it could be anything. It could be.
I'll just play the album one melody.
You sure?
Yeah, I think. Wait. It's 4 notes. I just pretend.
Wow, I can't wait. Thank you guys so much for again. I cannot thank you enough for the time and dropping down.
Thank you for listening, man. I appreciate it.
Anytime.
Thank you too.
So we'll take a quick break and then we'll come back because you're gonna break this. He's gonna break a world
do it. Second round.
Second round.
A world
there's
record.
a world Guinness Book of what is it called?
Guinness Book of World Records.
World Book Records.
So this lady put 60 stickies on her face within 60 seconds. So he's gonna try to break it. Yesterday he was able to get 3. So we figured out the problem. The problem is we didn't have glue on his face. So
Are
we
these
got
the right ones, though?
Yeah, these are the original Post-its. So
Yep.
They should work.
So we're gonna try to. We'll come back and we'll try to break the record. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Let's grab a picture.
Yeah, let's do a picture.
Run, if that's all right.
Oh yeah.
I think PK is gonna put on a quick.
Yeah, let's do it here.